welcome to our
Oh no,
Celluloid Misfits YouTube tutorial of how to create a ponytail.
How to create a man ponytail.
With strands.
Fuck off! It is like strands though. Is that right?
Yes, that's lovely.
Does that work okay?
Very, very, very nice.
Is it all messy or is it?
No, it's fine.
It's good.
Have a look.
Just, I can't see.
It's probably best.
No, don't say that, because the hat will go back on. It's honestly alright.
No, it's fine, honestly. It's
Yeah?
fine. Yeah.
I wonder if Siskel and Ebert ever had to deal with this.
Well, when
They probably have makeup people.
Yes, and a wig.
And toupees, not even a wig.
Toupee or not toupee, that is the question.
Well, for me, it would be not toupee. I'd rather go like that
Well, this is fine.
than
This
have a toupee.
saves me an extra...
I don't want to
10
get hair
minutes.
plugs because it sounds horrifically painful.
I have filmed someone getting hair plugs and
Does it
the
look
process, and I nearly fainted.
That's because it was needles. We know George's weakness now.
2,500.
Needles at one time? Ah! No.
Hideous.
I'd rather have my head chopped off.
He nearly did.
Wow.
Because they had to cut. Well, I'm not going to it. I'll show you some footage right now. So, tell me.
Well, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the newest edition of the Celluloid Misfits with our weekly, daily movie reviews.
He's using his phone voice that he uses when he calls me.
Yeah, I'm like, hi George. Do you know who it is? I know what you did last summer.
That's when I know.
Yeah, that's when you know when I start making references.
Yeah.
What's your favorite scary movie? So welcome back to another Celluloid Misfits movie review. Our filmed one. This is our second.
This is our second, and this time it is for a television show.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Well, television show or long form movie?
It's a whole new thing, isn't it?
It's a really different...
It's limited series, not even.
No, because we've had two.
Yeah.
And haven't getting the third.
I think it's officially a TV show.
I think it's officially... You're right. Yeah.
So
but it has that kind of ongoing narrative.
It does have that ongoing narrative, and it is the Mandalorian.
It is.
I mean,
it amazes me that people can sit through 8 hours of, TV, but couldn't sit in the cinema for 8 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Watching a movie. Who knows what?
I reckon if they edited all those episodes together,
yeah,
and put them on the big screen, I'd be quite happy to go and
I would lose a bit of something for me.
chillax.
Oh, do you mean just edit the episodes into one giant big movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh,
sorry.
Ching ching.
So, cheers to review 2.
Review 2, The Mandalorian. Season 2. Right, thank God. Because we've covered season 1 enough.
Have we though? I'm not even too sure.
Well, let's briefly reflect on season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Well, you weren't a fan.
I wasn't.
Of it.
It looked stunning.
Yeah.
Looked spectacular, obviously. But it didn't grab me. It didn't pull me in.
Yeah, okay.
But there was enough there to make me want to continue. So when season 2 did come out, and I jumped into it, and that's when I was hooked.
Yeah.
For some reason, something about season 2 really grabbed me.
Could it have been the introduction of familiar characters? That is what grabbed you, or seeing characters that have now become canonical and have only ever been animated form kind of coming to life.
So much, I think they just realised, okay, now we've done enough character development, let's get a bit of fun going, and I think especially episode 2, the one with the spiders, and that was fantastic. That was a brilliant episode, really kind of like exciting, intense, and but it also gave me feels for the original Star Wars trilogy.
100%, right?
That's when I really started falling for the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So
because that particular episode reminded me very much of when the Millennium Falcon goes into the crater and they're inside the kind of crater worm, and they've got those sucky bat things that I don't even know what they're called. I usually know a lot of what the things in Star Wars.
But that's the feel it brought back. Yeah, of course.
Brought back that original feel. The first season I really enjoyed.
You did.
I loved it. I was just like, why have they continued Skywalker when they could have been doing this? Not that I hated everything about the Skywalker saga, the 9 films. There were parts, the OG trilogy, love, perfection. The prequel trilogy, there's aspects of it that I like, and the sequel trilogy started really strong, and then JJ came back and demolished it for me. Anyway, personally, not for a lot of people really liked it. But The Mandalorian, what an odd choice to get Jon Favreau to create a television. Now, obviously they did that because he did a great job with kind of starting the MCU.
Well, yes.
He directed Iron Man
of course. I mean, he was behind, and also a lot of other huge Disney movies.
Yeah, like The Jungle Book and things.
Exactly. So, the contract's signed, he's there.
Yeah. He's locked.
He's locked, but he's also, I think, a very talented director, writer, and...
visionary.
Yeah, he's clearly proved that he's got... And he must be a fan of Star Wars.
What?
Without
only a fan could pull off something that good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of material there for Star Wars that is still
absolutely
unseen, that is still talked about, and the fans want.
Yeah, and we talked about this in our Screen Queens video with Disney Investor Day, and they announced all of these new shows and movies, which gives me so much hope for the future of Star Wars.
Bigger is coming.
Yeah.
And I mean...
Or just that the franchise can have life away from Luke and Leia and Han and all the other characters.
And it can. Rogue One proved that.
Rogue One proved, but again, it's
still linked a wee bit, but it still had... I mean, for me, Rogue One was one of the most exciting of the more modern movies, if not the best of the most modern movies. But with The Mandalorian, every episode of season 2 for me started to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Right down to its absolute final scene, which... Yeah. Oh, but let's start from the beginning.
Well, the final scene was a surprise.
Yes, that was
because they left that. We'll get to it, but they left that out of Disney Investors Day, and then that
completely.
Kind of. So we got the surprise of the ending, and then we got the. And had you not text me and said, "Have you watched the final episode?" Because you text me at like 10 a.m. in the morning, and you were like, "Have you watched the final episode of Mando?" I was like, "I'm literally just awake, George, but I'm going to watch it today." Had you not said sit through the credits, I'd have turned off.
Yeah.
And been like, that was a great series, and not known.
Yeah. Well, what kind of made me want to keep watching was the fact that one thing I do look forward to, even with the first series, was the end of that was beautiful artwork, the music, and just taking all that in was beautiful. And when it didn't happen at the end, we'll try in case we get sued.
Copyright.
Yeah. But the last episode didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is wrong.
This
is wrong.
This is not the Mandalorian.
What are they doing?
Did they run out of money?
Well, there's a possibility. The artist died. But I watched, and then there we go. We got that surprise.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall views, phenomenal.
Really?
I think for me it was totally a 5-star season.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Without a doubt.
I mean, that's usually what we say at the end.
Yeah, I know. But that was... For me,
it was a 5-star experience.
I don't think I've ever wanted to see. No, I'm still waiting on the MCU coming out with their TV series, which I'm excited for.
Which we will be covering.
We will be covering
on a weekly basis. We'll be doing WandaVision.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a very big blanket. But
yes, a very massive blanket.
And there is obviously we binge watched today. We talked about this as well. We're now conditioned to binge watch.
Yeah.
Whereas 10, 15, 20 years ago, we had to wait a week per episode, and that's what that excitement came back with The Mandalorian.
Yes.
You wanted to find out what was going on, you wanted to see more, you couldn't wait for the next week.
I was a little, I think I said this to you at the very start of Disney Plus, I was a little bit like, oh, for God's sake, like, they're doing this weekly and we've got to wait every week. And as you said, that actually brought back an element of, I can't wait for what comes next. I was anticipating Fridays coming, I think I'll be anticipating Fridays when WandaVision starts next Friday, or Friday the 15th, sorry.
But also, I mean, like, unless you had a video recorder and you remembered to record it, you couldn't go back and watch those shows again. No. Whereas now,
once they were aired, that was it.
Yeah, and once now at the hit of a button, you can pop it on your phone.
Yeah, true.
So we are highly spoiled, obviously, but even holding that back, allowing fans to just build that excitement up and guess where things are going, you know, figure out what's going on and having their theories out there, you know, that's when YouTube kind of exploded there again with The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That everyone had these fan theories of what's going to happen, who's coming, who's going to save them, you know.
I used to be the biggest hater of like fandoms. I was not a great big fan of it because they were like, they gave me a lot of false hope. They would have fan casted people and been like, oh, wait, this person in that role, and then I would have been like, oh my god, that's such perfect casting. But Boss Logic, you know Boss Logic?
Yes, you were telling about him.
Yes, yeah. The artist, phenomenal guy and phenomenal artist. I mean, just I love his stuff, and every time something new comes out, he creates this artwork that gets me like,
excited.
Oh my god, like please make this happen. And Rosario Dawson, who we'll get to eventually, actually said that it was Boss Logic's artwork as her as Ahsoka Tano
that
got Dave Filoni thinking about. And she was cast.
Wow.
Perfect casting.
That was amazing casting, yeah.
But we'll get to the casting. We'll get to casting. So overall, how did we do Wonder Woman? I kind of totally forgot.
Well, I mean, I think generally speaking, the entertainment side of it, we can't deny that was there.
The entertainment was there.
100%.
Yeah. Every episode, I was not bored.
No.
Put it that way.
No.
Every single episode, I was like, God, and they were so short, and I was like, I could have sat through an hour and a half of this.
They did feel even shorter, but I think because there was so much this time that you were really just caught by it.
Yeah. They were moving that story of Grogu and the Mando on very rapidly in season 2, because I think that they knew, obviously, with what they had planned, where they needed to go, so they're like, let's kind of move this along. Not at an erratic pace that made me feel like this is rushed.
Oh no.
But certainly at a pace that was like, oh, this is moving.
Yeah, they didn't mess it up at all.
No.
Without a doubt.
No.
So what about the cast? There was a few new faces, obviously.
A few new faces. I mean, okay, so first of all, Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, which is his real name, or the Mando. That voice just gives me like tingles. I am like, I mean, when he takes his mask off, I'm like, oh yeah, we bit of Pedro Pascal. But even with that mask on, I mean, very few people can act so well with a mask for an entire show, and I'm like, really, you don't see his face, but that mask is almost like a complete person.
Few people are actually under that mask when the character is wearing a mask.
Stop it now. We know about Hollywood stunts and things like that, George. Let's not ruin the illusion.
But generally speaking,
he was very, very good, and I really like him. I thought it was a great casting decision. Even in the first season, I was like, oh, what a brilliant cast.
I didn't know really. I didn't check the casting when I first started watching the first season, so it was a surprise to me that it was him under there.
Yeah.
But no, again, it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of flawlessly cast. These are the right people
very
for
much
those
so.
roles.
Now, I am interested in your set. I was just going to say, is this going to lead me to, will I say anything or will I not say anything? Because I was like...
Set.
Gina Carano?
Look, lovely girl, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Great arms, but...
great fighter.
Yeah, I just don't...
Suits the part of Cara Dune down to a T.
Yes, I mean... Still not the greatest actress in the world.
She's not a fantastic actress, no, but does she need to be?
But she kind of suits it, because she doesn't really get... Well, she doesn't have to deliver a lot.
She doesn't. She's tough.
She's tough.
She's clearly a very broken character from what happened. We get kind of hints at that in the story of what happened to her in her past, because she's obviously from...
that planet that got destroyed, basically.
As a Star Wars fan, I'm disgusted at myself that I can't think of...
Look, when the news first
came out,
when the news first came out about this new action started...
Gina,
from, I think it was Steven Soderbergh, what do you call it?
Steven Soderbergh?
Yes. Yeah. And he had cast her in a movie to be this new action star. And it was
Haywire.
Fuck, what a terrible movie. For me, a terrible movie. And I just thought, what was all the hype about, you know? And then I seen her, then she popped up in Deadpool.
She's from Alderaan. Thought that was annoying.
There
the
you
hell
go.
Out of me.
Alderaan.
I had to say, That destroyed Alderaan.
Yes.
She's from Alderaan.
And she was in Deadpool, and it was like, meh. She's playing just
I forgot that.
the same old Deadpool.
Yeah.
The same old tough character again.
Yes,
Obviously. I mean, I don't expect her to play something that Katie Holmes would be doing, but that's,
Whatever happened to her?
Well,
people realised she couldn't act. There's a moment in Batman Begins, this is totally off things. You can edit it out if you want to, you probably will. But Katie Holmes and Batman drops down in front of her and she makes this horrible... It's like the worst scream I've ever heard in my life. I was like, that was unconvincing. I'm so glad they recast her. Anyway.
Maybe he landed on her foot.
No, he did not. He just... Katie Holmes, I think Christopher Nolan then realised at that moment this was a bad decision.
But hey, I mean, look, that's my only gripe with the casting. She's not dreadful by any means, but
the fact is the camera doesn't need to pull away from her during the fight sequences, which I really
have to
really
go
like.
really far back because she
is sturdy.
She is very sturdy,
but
it's very polite.
It's George now. Please. We're not body shaming.
No, we are not.
She's very much in shape, and I love that the camera doesn't need to pull away from her or do any trickery to kind of make it look like she's being doubled. Clearly, I mean, she does her own stunts and she does do a lot of fighting. She is an experienced MMA fighter, so she can do it.
It's this part. There's no
emotion.
There's no emotion.
No.
But
maybe that again is it's a very well suited character thing because she's from Alderaan and
character from Haywire right through.
She does, yeah, yeah. Cara June is the character, but she plays it because there's obviously something there with the whole Alderaan thing that bothers her and that she's got loads of grudges. You would if your whole planet was destroyed. I wouldn't mind if this planet was destroyed.
I think you would show it.
You would, but she's a ranger. She's tough.
Yeah.
Showing emotion is a sign of weakness for a lot of people.
Yes.
Especially if you are like this space ranger and you are tough, you show any kind of emotion.
That's why I quit.
That's your undoing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you should know emotion. Because
I quit being a space ranger because of those exact reasons.
Yeah. But again, there was a lot of really nice casting. I liked Taika Waititi as KTSO. It was fun in season 1, and obviously he didn't come back for season 2 because if anyone's seen season 1, he sacrificed himself.
What are you doing?
In season 1, they very much, I think, relied on Baby Yoda to carry the story. He said, I mean, I want one.
We got our daughter one for Christmas, and she loves it. She actually jealous. She doesn't let go of the thing, but it is so lifelike. It's scale.
Oh my god, amazing!
I'll show you.
I want one. But yeah, no, they definitely took it in new directions in the So the casting, we're talking about the casting, and obviously, so it was great to see Pedro, to see Gina Carano back. It was nice to see Giancarlo Esposito return as Moff Gideon. I think he's a great villain.
Yeah.
And some really, really great new faces.
So you had I can't remember her name straight off. Dan Inosanto's daughter, and she did amazing. She was
fabulous. I wanted more of her.
Yeah. Actually, so did I. But fantastic to see her getting on the show.
Yeah.
But yes, that for me the surprise casting was of
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Wow.
As Ahsoka Tano.
That was just...
it was perfection. Pure and utter perfection.
Possibly was my favourite episode.
It was the episode for me
until the end?
Yeah, it was the episode for me that I felt like I was very much engrossed. How she looked, how she moved, the lightsabers, the lighting.
I thought they could have screwed her makeup and costume very well, very easily. Sorry, they could have messed that up. Yeah, totally, but they didn't.
No,
she looks even as an orange. We haven't seen anyone that orange since Willy Wonka.
No,
and
but she looks fantastic. She looks amazing.
Yeah,
and she was the perfect part. She was the perfect actress for that role. I couldn't. now see any other live action actress in that role that could pull it off the way she did, and I'm really glad she's getting her own spin-off show.
Thankfully.
Because she's a strong enough character. We need
phenomenal
more female, an amazing actress. She's been around for so long, and so many people don't give her enough credit for how fantastic she is. I remember '95 when Kids came out, and she was in Kids.
Was she?
Yeah, the Larry Clark film, and I was like,
the shocking
Larry Clark film. The shocking Larry Clark film, and you know, she went on to star in some really
well done.
unusual movies, but big films, and then kind of went away, and then came back, and then went away. You know, coming back for Sin City and things like that. And then she would disappear again.
Netflix Marvel shows. She was
she was Night Nurse.
Quite a prime character in all of those, like, almost connected. She kind of like
she appeared in every show.
Pretty much.
Although Night Nurse now, I believe, is being introduced as Christine Palmer in Doctor Strange 2.
Oh.
She's going to. That's the rumour. Don't know if that's true, but anyway, I'm glad. You know what? If Rosario doesn't return to the MCU, I'm glad that she's in the Star Wars universe because she makes for a fantastic.
Totally. This is her.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Her thing.
This is going to be the big breakout for this.
But so I mean, overall,
I was glad. Sorry to see the return of Tamira Morrison as Boba Fett. It was nice to see Boba Fett come back, and Ming-Na Wen return from season 1 as Fennec Shand, and then kind of expanding the character of Fennec Shand to a much more kind of robust character.
Yeah, and she's
going to be in the book of Boba Fett.
Well, there you go. That's something that's going obviously they've given her not an introduction as such, but a much bigger screen time here to allow for that too.
And again, an actress that I have loved for years.
Oh,
The very first time I ever seen her was Street Fighter. That was the first time I'd ever seen Ming-Na Wen. Yeah. And then of course she did ER, and then was in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's like she's
probably her most famous role, I would imagine now, as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
As Melinda May, absolutely, I think so. I think her most famous role probably was ER, or in ER, but
a character I think that should, with the rest of the agents,
and she voiced Milan, obviously,
be in to the MCU.
Well, yes, but
she's a great character.
I think that Fennec has a great places to go as a character, and I was so relieved whenever I seen her come back. I was like,
so there were some other old faces popped up from the original movies and that, right? No, we'll get to the big one at the end. But was I right? Carl Weathers, did he pop up?
Carl Weathers, yeah. He was in the season 1. Carl Weathers,
he was. That's right.
Yeah, he was in season 1. He was the other kind of ally to Din Djarin in the first season, and it was nice to see Carl Weathers back.
It was. I mean, someone I've always
because he's a great actor. I mean, whenever I think of Carl Weathers, I think Predator. Yeah. Now I think.
Well,
Star Wars.
You know what I think? I think Action Jackson.
Oh my god! I totally forgot about Action Jackson.
I really enjoyed that movie as a kid.
Oh, what a great film!
Maybe we should go back to that for our audio commentaries because that would be a fun one to watch.
That would be a fun one to watch.
That's as soon as I saw him straight away. Totally forgot he was in season 1. Again, for me, season 1 was quite unmemorable.
It's a strong,
strong word, but yes, it was. And
this one was much more space opera.
This caught me.
Like the originals.
Totally.
This went for space opera level stat.
So what about in terms of a technical term?
Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant, of course.
It was the most kind of disappointing element of season 2.
I mean I've never been a fan of Timothy. From I think the first thing I would have seen him in was The Hitman.
Scream 2.
Forgettable, obviously. Not the movie, but him. Yeah. I can't remember him in that.
He was Crazy Mickey, one of the killers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, along with Laurie Metcalf as Mrs. Loomis. I mean, hello.
I mean, he's just not someone that sticks out to me.
No.
Now, I didn't like him in Hitman. I think I did enjoy him in The Crazies, the remake of The Crazies.
Yeah. And he's very good in that TV series.
And the TV series. Oh, I was going to say the other one with
Deadwood.
Drew Barrymore.
Oh, Santa Clarita Diet.
Yes. I did enjoy him in that.
Yeah.
Slightly. But when he appeared in this, I just thought, that for me was a...
He's so thin.
He's incredibly thin. I mean,
and very tall.
Unhealthily thin.
Yeah. I think that's probably why I was kind of like, ooh, because he didn't suit the
everything looked
the
like
Mando costume. Yes, yeah.
Literally too big, and that was size small, but it was hanging off him. it just didn't. That was a very small niggle, but it didn't work. It just didn't work.
So big reveals.
Big reveals, yes.
Was the very end when we got
bloody hell.
2 wonderful cameos.
Wow.
Mark Hamill returning as Luke Skywalker and R2-D2.
Jeez Louise. Like that alone, that episode alone,
yeah,
for me was better than the last 6 movies of the last 20 years. You know, it was just like, fuck.
Yeah. And what was so interesting about The Rescue was that it was like, it whenever you watch it back, it's a very female-dominated episode.
Oh, yeah,
This series, to me, I was like, girl power.
There's a lot of it.
You had Fennec, you had Cara Dune, you had Bo-Katan coming back for the final episode, obviously to get the Darksaber from Moff Gideon.
Of course.
And the other Mando who I love, but I can't remember the actress or the character's name, but you know who I'm talking about. Very much like, hey, girl power, with Mando teaming up with 4 badass women.
And the Mando taking on the Terminators.
Oh yeah, the Terminator, the Dark Troopers.
That was great fun.
I mean, the Dark Troopers were awesome. Yeah. I love that.
They were very Terminator, and there was even, I'm nearly sure,
but it was
there
a
was
nice...
a hint of music, like almost. Yes, there was.
Yeah.
There was something kicked in. There was a few notes that kicked in that just screamed.
Yeah.
That scene.
I want to say...
I'm just going to let my cat in because it's actually raining heavy and he needs to get in. I really don't like a wet pussy.
Where were we? Because I've now lost the train of thought.
We were on the Terminators.
Oh yeah. So what I want to say on that subject of music, Ludwig Göransson, who does the score for The Mandalorian, is not getting the praise that he deserves. The Mando theme tune is one of the most memorable theme tunes in like history.
Love it.
But he does do little like nods to old Star Wars themes and other things. What I liked is like Jon Favreau brought in the Dark Troopers from like comics and things like that there, which I loved. I was like, oh, what a cool thing! It was a nice surprise. And as you say, that final episode just gave me so much like, wow, this show is...
They outdone themselves.
They completely outdone themselves. And I said to you, as soon as I seen that kind of green saber, I was like, no. I actually thought it was going to be Ezra Bridger. So that's who I thought was going to end up coming in. Ezra is obviously from Clone Wars. I thought, well, they've introduced Ahsoka. Will they introduce Ezra Bridger?
Yeah.
And they've already talked about Thrawn, General Thrawn in the show as being that guy's daughter's boss. Because Rosario Rosario Dawson says, where is Thrawn? You know, she asks that question, so it's been thrown out there. So I kind of thought, okay, is this Ezra Bridger coming in with a green lightsaber? Maybe not. And then I seen the black glove and I was like, can't be. This is the point where I'm like, couldn't breathe, and I'm like turning the volume up as I'm getting louder, and I'm like and I'm like, oh my god, it fucking is him! I can't believe that just proper.
I was literally screaming with excitement, and I can't even remember the last TV show or
anything
or movie that made me feel so excited, and that immediately just totally reignited that love for Star Wars. And it took Mark Hamill.
CGI. Well, he obviously did.
There was another actor. There was another actor played. No, there was another actor played him. It wasn't. No,
I thought they just de-aged Hamill.
No, there was another actor played, and they had put Mark's face over.
And his voice.
This actor looks very much like a young one.
Okay.
Regardless.
It was a fantastic surprise.
Holy crap.
For every Star Wars fan.
Like, wow.
Who had been mulling over Mando for 16 episodes, and then we get that at the end.
That was worth it.
This has been worth the journey.
But there was so much
of Mando and Grogu and all of it. But what was so great is that it has now, in a sense, almost closed that chapter. He does say to Grogu at the end, you know, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
So it does make me think
the ending, wasn't it?
Grogu's coming back, but the introduction of Bo-Katan, the Darksaber now being in the Mando's possession, and Moff Gideon. That was clever of him. That was a clever move. I think Moff knew he was going to lose. he was going to lose the saber, and it was going to pitch two Mandalorians against each other, because now Bo-Katan wants to rule Mandalore. She wants to bring Mandalore back. Yeah. She wants that dark saber.
That was cool. I was waiting on that actually happening, then to kick it off.
Yeah, so they cut it, and I was like, damn it, we're not going to see this fight until season 3. But I think that Bo-Katan is probably, she's a very clever character. She was very well fleshed out in the Clone Wars, and very amazingly well played by Katie Sackhoff. I think it was absolutely perfection again.
Good. Yes, she reminds me actually of when I first saw her. I instantly thought it's such a weird connection. But you remember the TV show Roseanne, obviously, with Roseanne, her sister,
Laurie Metcalf, who we just literally talked about as Mrs. Loomis in Scream 2.
So that's who I thought.
It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's who I had initially. I was like, oh, what? And then I had to look twice, but
she's phenomenal. She's so good.
Yeah, she's very good.
You know, I really like her whenever she does it. I mean, she's in Battlestar Galactica. She was in one of the Riddick sequels, and things like that there. So she's a great actress, but I love that, and I love that it's kind of set up a new chapter for the Mandalorian. You know, that this could be. It's like, right, we'll go back to Mandalore.
Clearly, what they're doing there is they're not dragging this out too much with the whole, as you say, the cuteness of the cargo.
Yeah.
If they're not dragging that out, typically you would imagine that would go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're actually now going to veer off and go down a different road.
Yeah. And it's amazing how Star Wars as a universe can create the most simple of characters who just become like your obsessions.
Yeah.
Like R2.
But yeah, I know. Right?
And then
see when he just
BB-8.
Oh yeah.
I mean, whenever I seen BB for the first time, I was like, oh my god, I love it! And I got like a little remote control BB.
Oh, did you?
And I did, I did, and obviously with having like the ferrets and the dogs and everything, they were just chasing BB, and I was like, I don't want to wreck this thing. It cost me £300, so I'm not going to wreck it.
Jesus.
But I had to get a BB, and then with Grogu, I'm like, I want a little mechanical Grogu just to like follow me around all the time. He is so adorable.
He is. I love that. You know the scene where he's eating the eggs of the frog.
Yes! Oh, I love that. What a great episode. I
know, right?
Fantastic episode. Love that. That was the spider one.
Yes, that was number 2, and that was just like, this is corny, but it's actually...
It's working so well. Working so well. But it's just like every episode just kind of gave me something new. Gave me, you know, there was excuse for big... Okay, so we've talked about casting. We've talked kind of the production. This was something that I had mentioned to you. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were like, oh my god, The Mandalorian, it's so overproduced and blah, 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 and it's too much. I said this to you, if they underproduced a Star Wars, it would be Star Trek.
Yeah, I know, right?
It would be like
and not only that,
poor man's Star Wars.
But the fans would be kicking up shit.
Enraged. I mean, I'd be like, what a load of shite.
Of course it's overproduced. I mean, it's not overproduced. It looks spectacular.
It does. It looks cinematic.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a cinematic franchise.
Yes.
Be it on the big screen or the small screen. It doesn't matter. It's a cinematic franchise, and it's got to keep up the momentum of the cinematic. It absolutely does.
This is what I'm saying.
If they put that quality.
If they put the Mandalorian edited on the big screen,
about this.
We are getting very passionate. But if they put it on the big screen, it would fit. It wouldn't look
out of place.
No, totally not.
Absolutely not. And it as you say, it has that quality that just. For me, it has to have that kind of production level to make it stand up to what came before.
Yeah.
And essentially maybe outdo it.
It has for me, as I say, it's outdone. Bar Rogue One is such. I think the other 6 movies there from the modern era are completely like. I quite happily have jumped from the original 3 to the Mandalorian.
To the Mandalorian, yeah, I would too. As much as I love certain aspects of all of the other films.
No, understandably so. But this
is consistently very good.
Yeah,
the production is amazing. What I like actually is that they do what is so great about this show is that what they have done and what George Lucas did and JJ and Ryan Johnson did was the utilization of practical effects. There's a lot of it in there. You don't notice it an awful lot, but with the alien makeup, I mean, they could easily have done that in CGI, but they didn't.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
They recreated, you know, a lot of really memorable alien species that we've come to know in the Star Wars saga.
There's quite a lot
brought them in.
this.
Yeah.
Like, wow. quite a lot of characters came back
Yes.
into season 2.
The Book of Boba Fett, whenever they went to Jabba's
Oh
castle.
my god, that was a big surprise.
And yeah,
that was a big surprise.
I was like, wow, okay, this is peaking me.
Wonderful.
That was like fanboy wet dream
Yeah.
moment, wasn't
That's
it?
what I mean.
Luke coming, R2 coming, and then Book of Boba Fett and going back to Jabba's palace. I was like almost creaming myself.
I haven't had that feeling about Star Wars from literally from the mid 80s. That's how long that has taken for me to feel like that again.
Yeah.
Because everything else, again, not specifically everything, but it's just been a letdown.
Yes. Yeah.
And this has rekindled the same feeling I had back then when I had all the toys, wish I never opened them, but I still
George,
had that love for them.
Next time you come to my house, I must show you my Star Wars cupboard.
Ooh,
You'll be
that's what
surprised.
he says to all the boys.
No, I don't. I definitely don't, because I don't want them to think that I'm like 10 years old. But I have so many. I mean, that is nothing. You'll see. I'll show you. I'll take a picture of it later and show it to you. Of my Star Wars cupboard.
Wow.
Okay, this is gonna. Anyway. In terms of the action and the whole setup, the set design, the set pieces, they weren't for me random. You know, in a lot of shows you would have quite random moments, and it's like, oh, they're doing that just to kind of make it look kind of, you know, nice.
Yeah.
There's a couple of shows that I felt that they did that in. With the Mando, they set it up by using story elements.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, how can we move the story forward, bring in big action sequences and space battles and everything without it feeling like it's misplaced or out of place within the context of the overarching arc of the story.
Yeah.
For me, whenever I was watching the action, I was like, this doesn't feel to me like it's just there for the action.
Everything was there for a particular reason.
And one of my favourite action moments of the entire year was where they go to the
escape from the.
What?
Is that the escape from the when they fly the car into the? Is it a what is it? A big oil refinery?
Yes.
Yes. And they have to get out
and that chase with the bounty hunters.
Yes. On the cars. Yes, that's the one I was about to just mention. That's where I was going to interrupt you with. I was like, what's the episode with? And there's the sniper when they're coming out.
Fennec is sniping and Cara June is sniping.
That was so exciting. Like, that was really something else. Totally.
Again, one of those moments where I'm like on the edge of my seat, like aghast, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're really doing!" And you're like, you know, it's
No, that was a phenomenal episode.
That to me is like one of the best action moments in Star Wars.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You know, whenever I think about some of the amazing battle sequences that they've had, that stands out for me as one of the best.
There was a hint for me in that. It almost took me for a slight moment into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, tiny bit. But you know where else it took me? Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yes, it did. Yeah, of course.
It took me back to Return of the Jedi, kind of also to the opening of Return of the Jedi when they're on Jabba's barge.
Yeah.
And they've got the things flying and stuff, and also the speeder chase through the jungle. On Endor. It gave me so many OG vibes.
But the bandits that were chasing were very Guardians, weren't they?
They were.
Like they're like the aliens you would have seen in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Guardians of the Galaxy is still from Star Wars.
I
actually said at one stage, long before I was putting reviews online, the very first time I seen Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, oh my god, this is like the MCU Star Wars, because that's what it felt like with the aliens and with the characters and everything. This is the MCU Star Wars.
Yeah.
But really, really happy with The Mandalorian. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I have my own fan theories. I hated fandoms, but I'm now getting very much into it and theorising where they can go with this particular story. You know, we'll not talk about other stories because there's no point, but they are spinning off a lot of things with Boba Fett, with Ahsoka, with Rangers of the New Republic and things like that there. So there's a lot of really cool spin-offs coming. And then obviously the Obi-Wan series, Lando's own series, you know, the Acolyte, Rogue Squadron, the movie directed by Patty Jenkins, who we've literally just talked about in Wonder Woman. You know, she's getting amazing gigs, from this, because she's an incredibly... Yeah, she is, and she's an amazing director.
Did she do an episode?
No.
No?
Nope.
I thought I saw...
Oh, Patty Jenkins at the
Yeah.
episode of season 2.
Directed an
I think
episode?
so. And do you know who else also directs episodes?
Yes.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
That's right, I did see
Who
that
is
name.
not Jessica Chastain.
She is not.
Yeah, an amazing director actually.
Uh-huh. I did see her name pop up.
She directed an episode in the first season.
That's
she
right.
came back to do an episode in the second season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bryce has a very promising career behind the camera.
Well, she's a good teacher, isn't she?
She's had a great, well, not if you've seen some of Ron's recent works, but you know, she.
You can't knock him. He has done some.
I suppose it's
amazing
it's quite nice that Ron did Solo and then Bryce has come in to do a couple episodes of Mando. And she's a very competent actress, and I think sometimes when actors step behind the camera, because they have that understanding of having been directed, they can direct quite well. Sometimes.
Very small amount of them. Very small amount of them.
I think Bryce did a fantastic
She did,
job.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And do you know what? I actually would really like to see her in a Star Wars show.
Really?
I'm kind of like, could they bring Bryce Dallas Howard into a Star Wars show in some way, shape, or form?
Her and Jessica as sisters, assassins with...
Don't even, because that would be like a dream come true. So with Jessica Chastain in the Star Wars universe. Overall, I'm giving this a 5.
Yeah, I think...
Not even like a 4.9999999.
No.
This
I
is
think
like solid.
Flat out solid entertainment.
Yeah.
And as I said, give me that feeling of how I felt when I was a kid watching Star Wars movies, the original Star Wars movies. So yes, 5 for me.
Yeah. Disney, I think it's one of the... A lot of people were skeptical about the merger.
Of course they were.
Understandably.
Mm-hmm.
The sequel trilogy kind of proved that too many fingers in one pie can... rack the pie. That's not the same. What is it? Too many cooks spoil the broth.
There you go.
And I think
too many fingers in one pie.
Can wreck the pie. Of course it can. But too many cooks spoil the broth, and I think that they have learnt that there is a way to move forward.
Totally.
Well and better, and they're doing that now. And it was one of the best mergers that have happened because Star Wars fans have not been left wondering if George will ever come back and do more. They're now like, we're getting it.
They needed some after the last the prequels trilogy. They needed some sort of strength behind them.
Yeah, they did,
and that's what they got.
And they've got it with Disney.
Yeah.
So 5 out of 5 for me.
5 out of 5.
Let us
Thank you
know.
very
Yeah,
much.
thanks for watching. If you made it through the whole review, let us know below what you thought of The Mandalorian. If you agree with any of our points, disagree. Has the review changed your mind on anything? Or theorize with us.
Why not?
We want more dialogue on
Do
YouTube.
you know something we don't?
Let us know.
Thanks. And do.
Oh, and may the force be with you.
Oh yes. Oh wait, let's start.
You fucking idiot.
Cherry pie!
He knew that. No!
What?
We're going with May the force be with you.
Oh, we're going out with the...
May the force be with you.
Force be with you. May the force be with you. Sorry.
George!